Hi, this is Mike Sweeney from Saber Coaching. I wanted to provide a little bit of context on some of the challenges that I'm seeing leaders face. About me, I'm an organizational psychologist by degree, an executive coach, and a team coach, and I've been a practicing leader for over 25 years. I've done every job from entry-level team leader up to the C-level. And some of the challenges that we're facing in 2024 are different than anything we've seen before. Some of the biggest issues that I'm seeing are hybrid work. And of course, leading a team when you're in person or having a one-on-one leadership to employee conversation in person is very different than when you're doing it virtually. And a lot of people are facing situations where they have two people in a room, two people on technology, and they're rarely in the room at the same time. And about 53% of remote capable workers are working in some form of hybrid work. So that's a new challenge that has not gone back. All these RTO policies have not really taken place. So you're usually working with someone in an office and someone out of an office. So that's here to stay. Certainly the macroeconomic conditions are starting to create some significant challenges for leaders. And one of the first is a lot of managers are being let go. So if you think about the typical pyramid in an organization, there have been a lot of layoffs at the bottom level, especially in tech. And now the diamond is starting to get squeezed, where almost 31% of the last round of layoffs were managers. So leaders need to start thinking about how they elevate their skills to make sure that they stay gainfully employed in a tricky economy. They need to find that edge that keeps them viable. I'm also seeing that sometimes because people have been let go at the entry levels or the lower levels in an organization, that managers are being asked to do a lot of the administrative work. So there are fewer executive assistants, fewer leadership assistants. And a lot of the admin work is falling to the leaders because technology is supposed to make them faster. And they're also having some challenges influencing those in the organization. So managers in this economy are a bit stuck. The pace of change is not going to slow down, especially when you think about the adoption of new technology. Artificial intelligence is certainly a buzzword that we hear. We need to find ways to do more with less, which means that we're going to be constantly changing. A survey of about 3,500 C-suite executives said that they expect even faster rate of change in 2024. The last thing I'll mention is coming out of COVID, I think the managers were getting used to asking people not just what's going on with project A and B and C, but they were also asking, how's your family? What's going on? Is anybody impacted? Are you okay? Are you sure you're okay? And I think those challenges to extending that empathy beyond just the workforce has become an expectation and a standard. And so this is costing a lot of money for organizations, but it's the leaders and managers' jobs to check in with those people. So there are certainly some challenges, and that's creating an impact on leaders. And what I'm seeing is that there's a level of overwhelm that is just from the amount of information, the number of meetings that a lot of the leaders that I talk to and coach and work with say that they just can't get it all done. I think about 40% of US workers, with managers being about 43%, are saying they're exhibiting some signs of a workforce burnout. And then also, because managers and leaders have an outsized impact on their team's mental health, there's a level of overwhelm because the managers are hearing about the well-being challenges that individual employees are facing. So certainly there's a level of overwhelm that leaders and managers are feeling. Everyone who has a phone, everyone who has notifications on is going to realize that people are distracted at work. And on average, about 85% of people are distracted at work. And that creates a very tricky mindset and an inability sometimes to focus on executing the task, which creates even more overwhelm. I don't know how many of you had this situation before, but you finish a day of back-to-back meetings, you sit down and you go, when am I going to get all this done? In a Korn Ferry survey, 2/3 of workers say they're spending too much time in meetings, too much time on calls, and they're not able to make an impact on work. And some of this is just really creating a difficult inability to focus. Some leaders and managers who believe that employee training is part of the value proposition for them are not getting that training. Learn experts say that employers are spending significantly less on training in 2023. Of course, that's continuing in 2024. And a large number of employees and I assume many of these are managers too, almost 60% are saying they're having no workplace training. Rarely are we seeing these emerging leader programs now. We're seeing people get in the job and have to figure it out on their own. And there's also an isolation. Sometimes they say it's lonely at the top, but also when we're working more days remotely, that creates a level of isolation and loneliness that maybe we haven't seen before. In a survey by HR Dive, leaders were 2 times likely to say that they feel very lonely at work, and men are twice as likely to report that they feel very lonely relative to women. So these are some of the impacts. When I sat down and talked to some of the folks that I coach and some of the folks that I've worked with for many years and other thought leaders in leadership development, I asked, what are some of the skills that people are going to need to address some of these challenges and deal with these impacts? This is what I came up with. I'll start with just the left-hand side of the road is an image I took from John Maxwell's 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And he says that, look, you can work on your dedication to success. You can work on your personal effectiveness, but at a certain point, your leadership ability determines how much of an impact you have on an organization, on your role, on your team, on your department. So if we're working on building those leadership skills, that's going to accelerate your career. That's going to give you a better shot at making an impact at an organization. So here are some of the things I'm seeing. I hear a lot about just an employee level of self-awareness. That's one of the cornerstones of emotional intelligence. And also the idea of how do I get into flow? How do I work at my best? That relates to how much time you spend working in your zone of strength. And then I hear a lot of self-talk and how we get through those saboteur voices and turn down some of that negative talk. I hear a lot of employees, especially now, leaders looking to escalate, not sure what kind of role should I take? Should I do something on my own? Should I take a risk? Should I go for the next level? What might that be like? And then there's also the challenge of interpersonal relationships. Those are all the things that I'm hearing are skill needs. And to me, that all wraps into this leadership is who you are. Leadership is about mindsets, the B side of leadership. Those are really who you are. The leader is the instrument when it comes to how you work with other people in the organization. Then I see some other skills that I think are blocking and tackling critical skills for all leaders. Time and meeting management are critical. And these come right back to how we deal with that overwhelm and that distraction. Developing others specifically around coaching and asking questions and building other people's confidence. Accountability comes up very often. In fact, I'm often asked to coach specifically as an accountability coach. That gets into delegation. It gets into feedback. And then stakeholder management. I'm leading this big change. I need to make sure that I'm managing my stakeholders effectively. How am I putting the right people around me? And that to me is the what you do. Leadership is about skill sets and the do side. The other last piece that I think put these together, who you are, what you do, but then also how you learn. We need more adaptability. That's rising on the list of skills to keep us future-proof. Learning agility, how fast we can change and how fast we can learn. Learning from peers, someone's done something recently that's just a little ahead of you. How can you pick up those skills really quickly? And looking for more knowledge transfer between peers. And then a focus on the application of skills, not just going to classes, reading books, et cetera, but how do we actually put these into, as Alan Iverson said, practice. That's the how you learn, staying future-proof. So I'm going to pause there. Those are some of the ingredients, the challenges that I saw, the impact it's having on leaders, and some of the skill set, mindset, and learning capabilities that leaders are going to need. That's it for this video. I hope you have the opportunity to check out Leadership Edge. It's a new program that you can learn more about in some of the other videos. Thanks.